What's up, guys? Classy Metal here. A couple of things first. Happy Easter to those of you that celebrate. It is Sunday, so we're going to continue on with the CD collection. Second thing, my doctor has increased the dosage of one of the medications that I'm on. It has me a little bit scatterbrained, so I do apologize if I struggle a little bit in this video and I seem a little off. That will be the reason behind that, but we're just going to kind of persevere and push through. We're still in the I section. We will finally wrap up the INs and move forward from those. We've been stuck on bands that begin with IN for a little bit now, for a few weeks, so it'll be nice to move on and start seeing some other things in the collection. Just going to pick up where we left off with the band that we left off on the video last week. We have Into Eternity with The Scattering of Ashes. Pretty solid release from Into Eternity. Canadian progressive metal fused with melodic death metal. The Scattering of Ashes is probably one of their heavier releases outside of maybe their debut full length. Out of the 3 full lengths from Into Eternity that I own, this is probably the heaviest of the 3. I do like this album quite a bit, and it definitely ranks up there with my favorites from the band. The follow-up to that, I also own. This one is entitled The Incurable Tragedy. Band kind of did a 180 on this one. They kind of left some of that heaviness behind, leaned more into that progressive style of things, super melodic style, but it just kind of gets lost in that progressiveness. I was not a big fan of this one. I kind of quit following them after I heard this one, so at some point I may revisit this. Admittedly, I have not listened to it in quite some time. It came out in 2008 on Century Media, so maybe if I was to revisit it these days, I might appreciate it a little bit more, but I haven't really kept up with the band since this one came out, unfortunately. Next up, we have a band called Into the Moat with an album entitled The Design. This was released through Metal Blade Records. I got this in one of those big CD lots of Metal Blade Records titles that I talk about sometimes as we kind of march through the CD collection. This is some mathcore slash metalcore, not something that I would have sought out and picked up on my own most likely, but the fact that I got it in that kind of multi-CD lot was kind of a blessing in disguise, because I wouldn't have listened to it before. And it's actually a pretty decent album. This was released in 2005, so it's been out for quite some time. Definitely better than I was expecting, especially with those particular genre tags. So that's the positive of getting like blind buys or stuff in like multi-CD lots with other stuff that you know that you're going to like. Sometimes you will find some new stuff that you probably wouldn't have checked out otherwise. Next up, we have a release that I just recently talked about on that Life After Death collection, that big collection update video that I did. This is the Spanish death metal band Intolerance with their EP entitled Laments from the Dripstone Cave. Very cavernous, sulfuric sounding death metal. I dig this so much that I did pick it up on 2 formats. In that video that I was just talking about, I showed the LP version. I've owned this CD copy for quite some time now. I love this. They released a full length last year that I have not got my hands on yet. I definitely need to rectify that sometime in the near future, but this is just some suffocating, cavernous death metal out of Spain, and it's absolutely phenomenal. Next up, we have one that I can thank Marty Worm for adding to my collection. This came in that big VCLT that he sent me. It's been a little while ago now, but I found so much good stuff in that VCLT that I am eternally grateful for that. This is a band out of Australia. This is In Torment Black with The Fallen Shroud. I believe this was their sophomore full length. It was self-released from the band back in 2003. Kind of hard to come by, so I was very grateful to get it in that VCLT package. I really do love this. I like this much more than I expected. Definitely, it ranks right up there with one of the favorite releases that I got in that entire package. Just kind of blackened death slash doom metal. It's super heavy stuff. I want to pick up some more of the material. Unfortunately, this is the only album that I own from them. So it's just hard to find some of their material, especially with it being self-released in Australia. When you do find it for sale, it's usually at a very exaggerated price tag. So I'm very thankful that he was kind enough to send me that in that VCLT. Next up, we have some thrashy death. I guess it's got death metal and thrash metal elements going on. It leans. It's a kind of, I would say, a very aggressive style of thrash. This is Invasion with a Destroyer of Mankind. Killer band out of Indiana. This is their latest full length. I believe the band is still together. Came out, I want to say, in 2017. I could be a little off on that. It might have been 2016, but for some reason 2017 is sticking out in my head. I believe I got this at Metalhead Box. Don't quote me on that, but I'm wanting to say that's where I received this from. Very aggressive, melt your face off stuff. I do dig this. It is the only release from Invasion that I own, but if you're going to own one, this is a good one to have because it is a good aggressive face melter. We'll just put it that way. Next up, we have some Black and Thrash. This is Invasive Command with Ride, Invade, Kill, Conquer. The only full length that this band put out. Unfortunately, this band is split up. They had I believe, an EP that came out prior to this, but this is the only physical release that I own from them. Blackmetal.com release. I've talked about blackmetal.com a few times as we've gone through the CD collection. Very hit or miss label. I've gotten some stuff that I really love off of that label, and then I've gotten some stuff that is just horrible. This, I believe I got on Hell's Headbangers in one of their Black Friday sales or so many CDs for a certain price sale, but I do enjoy this. Killer stuff here. It's very unfortunate that this is the only full length that they put out. I would have loved to hear some more stuff from Invasive Command, but it is what it is. Just killer black and thrash metal there. Next up, we have another band out of Australia. This is Inverloch with Dusk Subside. This is an EP that came out way back in 2012. Does not feel like it's been out 11 years. That kind of blew my mind as I was looking through these before I made this video. I love this release. They have a full length that came out, I think, in 2016, and I don't remember much about that. I don't own it. At some point, I need to hunt that down and get a copy, because if it is anywhere as good, close to being as good as this EP is, then I'm sure it's something that I'm really going to like. Next up, we have a split CD that I received from Horror, Pain, Gore, Death. I believe it came in one of the grab bags from the label that I picked up along the way. This is a split from the bands Invidiosis and Little Puppy Princess. Invidiosis, their portion of this split is entitled Macrodose, and it is definitely my favorite of the two bands featured on this. They are death metal, and they do it very, very well. The Little Puppy Princess side, with a name like that, you know you're getting into something very grindy, very grindcore-ish, and that's exactly what it is. It's not horrible, but the Invidiosis side is definitely my favorite portion of this particular split. Next up, we have Invincible Force with Decomposed Sacramentum, released on Dark Descent Records. I believe this is the latest full-length from Invincible Force. Very blackened, I guess black and thrash. Has some death elements going on this as well. Anytime you see that Dark Descent label, you know you're getting something good. They had a prior full-length that I owned on vinyl. I believe I may still have that. I may have rehomed that at some point. I can't remember. With it being on vinyl, there's a chance I may have passed it along at a VCLT. As far as the Invincible Force full lengths go, this one is definitely leaps and bounds my favorite. But very dark, occult sounding stuff. But it is very good. Next up, we have the project from Iommi, Tony Iommi. This is, I guess, a solo project where he brings in guest singers and musicians and stuff. And I really like this. I wanted this because it has the track with Peter Steele, Just Say No to Love. I've had this in the collection for quite some time. As you can see, the price tag on that is pretty high. At one point, this was a very, very difficult CD to hunt down. You can find them somewhat cheaper than that now. Usually you can find them $20 or less, but at the time that I picked this up, it was a very, very difficult release to hunt down. This was released in 2003. And you didn't always have the internet. Well, you had the internet, but you didn't have the internet marketplaces so much at your disposal. CDs were much more in demand at the time. I did not pay $45 as the price tag says, but I did pay more for this than I would have had to pay, say, if I were to purchase this now. So next up, we have Ion Disruption with Troops of Eternal War. Death metal out of Czechia. I believe this band is out of Czechia. Only full length that they put out. I'm wanting to say this came out in 2009, maybe. Don't remember completely when this came out, but very solid, straightforward death metal release. And it's a shame that the band split up and we won't get anything else from these guys, because I did dig this one quite a bit. Next up, we have some black metal. This is Ipsissimus with the Three Secrets of Fatima. This is satanic black metal. I forget where this project is from. They have a full length that came out not too long ago, which was pretty solid. But this EP, this is just a 3-track EP, and it is absolutely phenomenal. It comes in about 20 minutes or so. It's just dark, oppressive, satanic black metal. At some point, I'll probably hunt down that full length and get a copy of it, because it was pretty solid as well. But this EP is absolutely nasty. Next up, something very, very not metal. We have a 4 CD set of Irish drinking songs, the Ultimate Collection. Very funny for me to own something like this, considering I don't even drink anymore. I haven't drank in almost a decade. There's the back of the slipcase. I'm not going to spend a ton of time with this, because I know most of you guys are here for the more extreme, or at least the metal portions of the CD collection. There was some stuff on the track list. I got this at Hastings before, when they were going out of business, and they had stuff that was in there for like $1 or less. And I saw this, and I was kind of looking, and there was a lot of tracks on here that the band Dropkick Murphys had done covers of. So I was like, you know what, I'll check it out and listen to it. And I do like it. I mean, it's pretty fun listening. Not something that I'm just going to listen to every day, but there was a track called the Green Fields of France. I love that Dropkick Murphys cover of that, and I saw that was on there, and that was kind of the purchase point and what led me to pick up that CD set. Next up, we have some sludgy, I guess, post-metal sludge stuff. Sludge, it feels like, is like a southern thing here, especially in the U.S. It feels like the southern states just really get into their sludge metal. This is Irist with Order of the Mind. This was released on Nuclear Blast Records in 2020. I dig this. I really like this. I haven't spent as much time with it as I should. This is one of those that you definitely want to spend some time with to kind of dissect in your head. And each time I listen to it, I kind of pick up some things that I missed on the prior listen. But always new music coming in makes it a little bit difficult to spend as much time as I would like with stuff. But I really dig this. Very, very, I guess, kind of intellectual metal. Next up, we have some blackened death metal. This is Irkalian Oracle with Grave Ecstasis. This was released on Nuclear War Now. This is the band's debut full length. They have another one that has come out since this. I'm not seeing a date on this, but I like this. This is some very, very nasty, gnarly blackened death metal, very occult sounding stuff. 2012 is when this was released and remastered for CD in 2013. So I guess Nuclear War Now released this in 2013. I do want to grab the follow-up full length. I believe they only have 2 full lengths out. If it's anywhere as good to this one, as anywhere as close to being as good as this one, then I know I'm in for something good. The reviews show these kind of neck and neck that I've looked at, so definitely want to get my hands on that follow up full length to that. I know I'm kind of lost in my own head a little bit in this particular video. If there's something that I show and you don't, either mispronounce the name or something like that, feel free to jump in the comments and ask me to type it out for you if you want to look it up yourself. Next up, we have some black metal, I believe out of Oregon. This was released on the Vargheist Records label. This is Irksome with a Moribund. I believe this is a one-man project out of Oregon. Very solid release. I've listened to this one quite a bit when it was first released. Haven't pulled it off the shelf in a little while now, but I did spend quite a bit of time with it when it first came out, and I was digging it immensely. At some point, I'm going to revisit it and pull it back out and give it another spin because it is some solid black metal. Next up, we have a band out of... man, where are these guys from? Czech Republic, I guess out of some more Czechia. This is Iron Fist with their only EP, the only release that this band put out, entitled Metal Ages. This is just a CDR promo. This is so much fun. It's only 3 tracks, but it is so much fun. It is a shame that this band didn't put anything else out. This has been out for forever now. Early... like, I want to say around 2000, 2001 is when this came out. 3 tracks, traditional heavy metal, but it's just, I mean, look at the dude with the chainsaw. I mean, look at that cover art. You can't go wrong with something like this. Look at the band pictures on the back. I hate the fact that they didn't put anything else out because that is a very fun, I mean, I can't even look at that without smiling. So you know that that's a good piece of work there. Next up, I will show my very modest Iron Maiden collection. I don't own nearly enough. That's sad, a bit embarrassing, but we'll just go through what I do own from them. First up, I have The Number of the Beast. A lot of people's favorite release, just iconic Iron Maiden stuff here. It's got Hallowed Be Thy Name, Run to the Hills, The Number of the Beast, Children of the Damned. I mean, it's just an iconic release. I'm missing so much Iron Maiden material in the collection, though, that it's not funny. At some point, I will rectify that. Some of them will have to be rebuys. I've talked before about how a lot of my stuff came up missing several years ago, and there was a good chunk of Iron Maiden in that. I just haven't had it in me to repurchase a ton of it yet. Next up, I have the Somewhere in Time. This was the pretty recent reissue that I picked this up actually at Walmart. Came in this box set that came with the figure and the patch. I actually have that right here, and I can kind of bust that out. It came in this big box here. I won't spend too much time showing this and taking up all the time in the video, but it has the... At some point, I'm going to put that figure out somewhere. I know the camera's not going to pick it up too much, but pretty neat little thing there. And then it has the patch that came with it. So I know they did a lot of reissues. I don't know if it was like a Walmart exclusive or just something. That's where I got this, but they may have had them out everywhere. But this was the only one that I managed to pick up out of the kind of reissues and the box sets. They had the little figures for several of them. Wish I could have got some more, but I was glad to be able to stumble upon that one at Walmart. And then we have probably my second favorite Iron Maiden release. I know my favorites aren't everybody's favorites, especially when I get to my favorite release. I'm going to have some eye rolls. But this is Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. I know a lot. You know, some people are just kind of like, what? That's one of your favorites? It's not my favorite, but it's probably my second favorite if we're just gonna go there. All of these are reissues. Obviously, my originals came up missing on me. So then we have Fear of the Dark. I also picked this one up at Walmart in their little bin. I saw it sitting. Somebody, I guess, at Walmart, their CDs now or a lot of times you go and they're just in this big bin with everything thrown in there and mixed together. And it looked like somebody had pulled this one out and threw it back right, and I walked by and saw it. I never really just kind of dig through that bin because there's hardly ever anything in there that I want. But I saw this one just sitting right there on top, and I was like, well, you know what? That's fate that somebody threw that there for me to pick that one up. So I did, and then I have a real live one, live album here. This is probably an original release. 93 is when this one came out. This one is probably all original. I did purchase this one secondhand. I haven't had it just too terribly long, but just from the condition of the case and everything, I'm assuming that this is probably an original press. And then we have the last one that I own, but it is also my favorite, and I know you're going to be like, what? But this is the Final Frontier. I don't know why. I know this is in that metal tin. It's obviously seen better days. It's a little bent up. But I can't put my finger on what it is about this album, but it is my favorite Iron Maiden. I know that I am way in the minority. I might be the only person on earth that feels that this is their favorite, but no shame from me. There's the actual CD. This is actually the second time that I've purchased this tin. I had it before, and it was one of the things that disappeared from me when that big thing of CDs was stolen. So I had to hunt down another copy of this tin, because I had it in the tin to begin with. And mine that I had originally was in much better condition than this. I ordered this on eBay, and it came in kind of bent up and everything else. But as long as I have the music, I'm happy. But that was my modest and very, at this point, kind of sad looking little Iron Maiden collection. I definitely need to rectify that. It's kind of a shame I walk around in the Iron Maiden hat and I don't even own all of the albums. But that's all I've got for this week. Thanks for kind of bearing with me and getting through. My brain is kind of scrambled eggs today. We will continue on. We don't have a ton of stuff in the I section. I know we'll be in the I's next week, and then I think the following week we will go into the J section. So that's all for today. Hope you guys have a happy Easter and a good week. Stay classy, stay metal. I will have some other stuff up hopefully this week as well, and I will see you guys. If nothing else, I'll see you guys next week, and we will continue on with the CD collection. Stay classy, stay metal, all that good stuff.